to demand 10 to 14 months of unpaid salaries for 200 of their members.
Plus, immigration officer killed and another wounded in an attack near Nalergu in the northeast region.
Also, there's Ghana marks No Alcohol Day. The president of the Drunkards Association says they can't stay away, but will regulate it. We'll hear from them. It's News Central here on TV3. I'm Kemini Amano.
And I am Mawina Egbeta. The bulletin starts right now.
Society organizations as part of efforts to find solutions to the Galamsey Menace. While many have expressed skepticism about another meeting coming on the heels of previous ones, this particular meeting is seen as a crucial one that should provide or could provide solutions to the way forward. While majority have called for the imposition of a state of emergency, others think it may not be the solution. Recently, government has pushed for the declaration of security zones in forest areas and around water bodies as a panacea to the conundrum. It is expected that the deliberation will focus on whether to declare a state of emergency or a declaration of a security zone. Well, let's find out how that meeting is shaping up. Komla Kluche is our presidential affairs correspondent. Komla, talk to us. How are things playing out so far?
Kemini, I mean, you can see from your shot, most of the CSOs, the religious bodies, have already arrived at the banquet hall or at the Jubilee House, where the president is scheduled to meet. The meeting is scheduled for 12 p.m. As we speak, the president has a pre-engagement, so shortly after that, he will just move straight into this. But, I mean, we have people who matter when it comes to the environment. Galamsey, senior government officials. I have seen national security people here. I have seen NIMOS here. I have seen CSOs, Franklin Kujo. I've seen the Catholic Bishop as well. The Gold Board heavily represented here. But let me engage the Catholic bishops and find out what position they are going into this meeting with. Mind you, it will not be the first time. Just about 2.5 or 3 months ago, they met the president in this same building at the other side of it, which is the auditorium, and they presented their position to him. Sir, good afternoon. You're live on TV3. First off, may I know your name and what you represent going into this meeting?
I am Bishop Anthony Asare, Auxiliary Bishop of Accra Archdiocese. I'm here representing the Ghana Catholic Bishops Conference. We've come again, as you rightly said. We have been consistent over 20 years. When you go to we have a document called Catholic Bishop Speaks. We've been speaking about Galamsey for a long time. And when the past government was here, we even did demonstrations on it. So we've come again consistent with what we stand for. Speaking on behalf of the Catholic bishops, we are also speaking on behalf of all Ghanaians that this threat is like our house is on fire, and we think we have to take decisive action and stop the talk and the research.
Decisive action, 9 months. How do you rate the government's handling of the Galamsey Menace?
I stand here, we are not looking at the handling, we are looking at the effects, and we are looking at the effects on the ground. What is happening to the waters? Just a few days ago, we heard of a report of some young men dying in a gold pit. It tells you the whole irresponsible mining is a threat. Human life, and then to our lives as well, in terms of water bodies and the air we breathe, the food we eat. So it is something which is not just about talk and what has been put in place, but the effects. What are we seeing? They've just closed some of the water treatment plants. So what are we saying? So for us, I think decisive action means practical steps. People should be arrested, people who are involved, and there should be an emergency, a state of emergency we are calling for.
You back the call for a declaration of a state of emergency?
Oh yes, yes, because when your house is on fire, you first put it out. That's what you do. You don't plan. You just put it out. The fire service will tell you when your house is on fire, what do? You think of how to put it out.
But you know, declaration of a state of emergency also comes with a cost to it. I mean, we know the situation with respect to the economy is not entirely too good now, and the advancement of the argument is to the effect that we've not really gotten to the point where it has to be a declaration of a state of emergency yet. If in this meeting you do not get some assurance of the sort from the president that there will be a declaration of a state of emergency, what then do you do?
I will continue to talk about it. We'll continue to call the attention of everybody, because this is not a church issue. It goes beyond religion. It's affecting everybody. And if people are dying and you think it's not enough to call for a state of emergency, then I don't know what next we are waiting for. Our house is on fire, and we must all agree to that. Everybody's calling for it because it's affecting all of us now. Okay. And a few people cannot just benefit whilst the rest of us suffer it.
All right, most grateful. Let me speak to lawyers in search of democracy. These are legal people as well. Lawyer Theophilus Jimega, you represent Linsort. For you, the call for a declaration of a state of emergency, do you back that as well?
No, I don't really back it. All those calling for the declaration of state of emergency have not told us what to do after the declaration of state of emergency. If you are able to give us an idea of what to expect or what to be done after the declaration of state of emergency, then we might interrogate that and buy into it. But just to say declare state of emergency, after that we do what? And currently the president has indicated to us that a lot is being done. Let us give chance to the ones that are being done to see how successful they are. I mean, if we declare a state of emergency, does it mean, is it a panacea for us to get solution to everything?
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut it because you need to cross back to the studio before we come back here again. Probably when we are done, then we'll do another interview again. The meeting is scheduled to start any moments from now. The room is getting filled, as you can see from the pictures. And Kemini, it promises from the CSOs and the religious bodies that they will be brutal and frank with the president as to how the handling of the menace should be. It's not about mincing words at all. These meetings or their positions are already well known.
Thank you so much for the reporting. We will take you there when the president arrives for the meeting. In the meantime,
we're talking health because the Junior Doctors Association of Ghana has announced that its members will embark on a nationwide withdrawal of services following months of neglect and unfair treatment of some of its members from October 7. A statement issued and signed by its leadership said over 200 junior doctors have worked for 10 to 14 months without salaries. The release said several medical officers who were previously on payroll have had their salaries stopped without explanation, including over 480 medical officers who've been awaiting posting for the past 3 to 4 months. The leadership says, despite repeated engagement with authorities and goodwill shown towards the government, no solutions have been offered. It has therefore decided that all members should, first off, withdraw all outpatient services effective Tuesday, 7th October to Thursday, the 9th of October, 2025. They as well say they will withdraw all emergency services effective Friday, the 10th of October 2025, until further notice. However, inpatients will continue to be managed until discharged, but no new cases will be admitted. Let's engage the junior doctors' leadership and speak to Dr. Rhoda Amadou, who is the General Secretary of the Junior Doctors Association of Ghana. I understand she's joining us via Zoom right now. Doc, you have said, or you say you've had repeated engagements to prevent this action. Talk to us about these efforts and why they've yielded no fruits.
Okay. All right, so thank you very much. Good day to your cherished viewers and listeners. My name is Dr. Rhoda Amadou. I'm the General Secretary for the Junior Doctors Association of Ghana. And yes, like you rightly said, so over several months, we have tried every formal channel. We've had dialogues, we've had petitions, we've had meetings. In fact, so many engagements with government, relevant stakeholders, to address these critical issues that have been very well outlined in our press release,
right,
and are threatening the careers of our doctors and also the stability of our healthcare system. But you see, despite all these efforts, our pleas have been met with silence and inaction, and that has warranted our unanimous decision to embark on this escalating industrial strike.
When you say silence and inaction, I want a bit more in terms of the specific, because there will be the health ministry involved in these conversations as well as the finance ministry. Is it the case that you've been able to meet the minister, or this is a case of letters sent to his office which have not been responded to? Both ministries, if I can say.
Yes, so the engagements, like I said, have been done with the Ministry of Finance, our executives, our mother body, the GMA, have done the necessary follow-ups. But what I mean by silence and inaction is that we still haven't had the issues resolved. Our members haven't had any salary alerts. And so it's safe for us to say that we have been met with inaction because the problems continue to persist.
And the refrain has been what? We're working on it? Is that the refrain?
Yes, that is the popular response we get. It's being worked on. But you see, let me also register that in fact this comes at a time that is quite worrisome, because unfortunately to the good people of Ghana, they have been trapped in the middle of this. But you see, we want to say that we are doctors and our calling is perfectly to heal, to provide these essential services. But you see, let's understand that we are also human beings, right, with families, with responsibilities. And so we are not just taking this stand as leadership for ourselves, but for the survival of these doctors, the survival of their families, and the survival of the healthcare system as well. And so for us, it's simple. We are just asking that the doctors be paid. Those who are owed the arrears, the payment should be done.
Right.
The posting should also be done. And then going forward, if a permanent solution to curb these payment interruptions can be solved, we would be glad to witness such.
Right. Doc, you mentioned some 480 of your members, they stopped receiving their salaries. What's the reasoning for that?
No, so the number 480 is not correct. I didn't say 480.
No. I mean from the statement. Maybe I've just got the numbers mistaken. But in your statement, you say some of your colleagues have stopped receiving salaries.
Yes. So there has been reported, a cohort of our members have reported that they have had salary interruptions. That's for some reason their salaries stopped coming without any prior notice, without any official communication. So as we speak, we don't know why the salaries of the affected persons were withheld. That coupled with those who haven't had salary at all for ranging between 10 to 14 months. And then the cohort of doctors who have completed their mandatory housemanship training and are still at home.
What gets you to call off this industrial action?
Yes, so like I said, we have tried I mean, every channel, the engagement, we've tried all amicable means. But like I said, we still haven't had these issues redressed. And so we are moving forward to unanimously adopt this strategy by escalating this industrial action. Because I mean it's devastating already in Ghana. Even if you're on payroll, I mean it's not easy to navigate your way. But how much more people commuting to work? And a hungry doctor is an angry doctor, and I'm sure the public doesn't want to be attended by hungry or angry or emotionally or psychologically unstable doctors. That is not what we want. So we are pleading with the relevant stakeholders. We are pleading and calling on government to just meet our demands.
Right.
Medical officers who haven't received their pay, the payment should be done immediately. The postings too should be worked on immediately. That's all we are asking. That's all we are asking. And yes, and for the consideration of the public, that's why the action is not. We are not.
You're not
just
intending for them to be the sufferers of this action. I appreciate you speaking to us, Doug, and most certainly, I'm sure when this does begins, unfortunately, we'll be back again for a conversation as to whether or not between now and the 7th, there is some intervention from government. But we're going for our very first break here on the bulletin. When we return, we're live in the northern part of the country because an immigration officer has been killed, another has been wounded in an attack near Nalerigu. We'll get the details for you if you stay with us here on News Central.
in the Bintri area. Now, we know that besides that immigration officer, another one was critically injured at the checkpoint in the East Mamprosi municipality near Naleregu in the northeast region. The attack occurred around 1:30 a.m. on October 3rd, 2025, claiming the life of Assistant Immigration Control Officer 2, Rafiq Mohammed, and left Daniel Opong with severe gunshot wounds to the jaw and back. Police in Naleregu have confirmed the incident and have launched a full-scale investigation. Solomon Kanalue is our Northeast Region correspondent, is joining us with a bit more on this story. Solomon, what else can you report?
All right, so thank you so much. Honestly, it is tough to get much beyond what has already been said out there because people are scared to talk and the police are keeping things tight. So unofficially, I am hearing the attackers were very organized, which suggests this wasn't just a random act of violence. And there are also speculations about whether this is connected to just a robbery incident but this is just rumors I am hearing at the moment.
I see. And what do we know about the officers involved?
All right, so the last official word that was said is the official involved is in a stable condition. But I have heard from sources at the hospital that the injuries are quite serious. They are saying it will be a long recovery, but they are optimistic. And so as it stands now, nobody is allowed to see the official involved. All they see is he is in a stable condition.
Very well, Solomon, we'll leave you here. Thank you so much for talking to us. Solomon Kanalue is our Northeast Region correspondent. We've just been talking about that rather disturbing incident that took place in Bintri at a checkpoint in the East, in that area. We can now turn attention to other issues.
Newly sworn in Court of Appeal Judge Justice Daniel Mensah, who doubles as the Domahini, has rejected claims that President is packing the courts. Speaking shortly after his swearing in, Osajefo Osiadeyo Ajiman also refuted claims that he has been rewarded for his tough stance on the previous government.
For the first 13 years in my life, I moved 2 places as a High Court judge. For 15 years, I've been at one place. So to say somebody is packing the court, in fact, presently, until today, I was the High Court judge representing the High Court on the Judicial Council. So if you look at the order, I was the second. To say somebody is packing, to me, I think we've been there even for too long. It's not a matter of, packing the court, but I believe that each one of them, about 21 of us, have his own competencies, has his own, the strength that they come up with. So I wouldn't say, if you look at the number of cases and the backlog that we are all, saying that cases delay, then ostensibly there's a need for us to ensure that judges come on board at all the levels, Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, the High Court, so that we can, hold on to ensure that the cases are, expedited with. So in a nutshell, I wouldn't say that the courts have been, once you have the necessary competence, once you've been there for some time and you have been elevated.
You suggest that you have close relations with the head of state, and also, you've had this appointment. Many say it is to say thank you to you. What's your response to that?
No, as for the appointment, normally the president appoints on the advice of the Judicial Council. I believe that if I was not competent, if I've not been there for long, if I don't have the competencies, I was telling you that if I'm not mistaken, out of 142 judges of the High Court, if I'm representing them as the senior most on the bench, it tells you probably I've even been overlooked, not me alone, and some of the others. So if he has come to see that we have the enough competence, we have the expertise, and he has appointed us. I don't think people should look at. I know him.
Let's move away from that. The Ghana Police Service is investigating a case involving a Kia truck with registration number ER76023 that was intercepted on the Sekasua Road for carrying 36 bags of substances suspected to be narcotics. Preliminary investigations indicates that on the 30th of September, some officers from the Eastern Regional Police Headquarters, Koforidua, arrested the driver of the truck, which was carrying the goods suspected to be narcotics. A search in the truck revealed that the vehicle, which was halfway filled with sawdust, also had 36 sacks of dried substances suspected to be narcotics. After conveying the vehicle and its content to Sekasua Police Station, the suspect driver and his mate managed to escape abandoning their truck. Efforts have since been intensified to get the two suspects rearrested. The impounded truck, as well as the 36 sacks of substances suspected to be weed, have been retained at the Eastern Regional Command. They are therefore urging the public to disregard false media reports claiming that the 36 sacks have turned into sawn dust. The majority side of the Communications Committee of Parliament has asked Ghanaians to disregard the call by the minority to dismiss the Minister of Communication over the DSTV brouhaha. At a media briefing in Accra, Chair of the committee, Adam Suleimana, said the minister's action is in the interest of the Ghanaian people.
As members of the majority caucus of the Communications Committee, we recognize the minority's concerns. We, however, emphatically disagree with their position and their call for the removal of the minister responsible for communication. This is premised on the fact that the goal of protecting Ghanaian consumers must always be the driving force behind parliamentary activities. There is nothing irregular about the minister's engagement with multi-choice, and there is absolutely no justification for the call on the minister to resign. The minister has acted within his mandate and continues to provide the needed leadership to stabilize and guide the sector. What the minority fails to admit is that over the past 8 years, the communication space in Ghana suffered greatly from the absence of constructive dialogue. You recall the sale of Vodafone Ghana to Telecel under very opaque circumstances. Ghanaians have widely expressed support for the minister in his engagement with Multi-Choice Africa. The initiative has received positive public recognition as it addresses previous pricing concerns where Ghanaian subscribers paid significantly more than others in comparable African markets under similar bouquets. Since he assumed office 7 months ago, the minister has demonstrated courage and patriotism, hence must be supported. Through his tireless efforts, the telecos has reduced the cost of voice and data services. We, the majority, will stand resolutely with the minister and call on Ghanaians to ignore the populist rant of the minority.
Well, that's the majority. Back in the Communications Minister, we're going for another break here on News Central. When we return, a bit more in terms of stories. Stay with us.
every year. Now, this day is set aside to create awareness on the dangers of overconsumption of alcohol or alcoholic beverages. And now this day, as its name suggests, aims to spread awareness of the negative effects of alcohol consumption. Excessive drinking potentially leads to violence, irresponsible behavior, and driving, causing accidents and injuries. According to the WHO, the harmful use of alcohol is responsible for 3 million deaths annually. In addition, regular consumption of alcohol is linked to high blood pressure, liver disease, stroke, and diverse types of cancers. And while many may have stayed away from drinking alcohol yesterday and even today, one group says they can't stay away today, especially when today is Friday. Now, you know what that means? I don't. Let's find out from speaking to them right now. President of the Beverage Consumers Association of Ghana, also known as the Ghana Drunkers Association, Moses Onya, has joined us. Moses, good afternoon to you. I'll come back to you shortly, but right now I want to link to Mawina, who's on the dashboard, to break down some of these things that I've spoken about already. Mawina, we've been talking about how 3 million people die from alcohol consumption annually. Moses, I hope you're listening. I'll come back to you for more on that, but what other numbers are we looking at?
So, on an average, between 2022 to 2023, particularly just for the year 2022, we consumed 457 million liters of alcohol in the year, and that's about 1.25 million liters every day in terms of the alcohol that's consumed in the country every year. And we pegged this on 2022. Beer leads the way. 348 million liters in terms of beer consumed. The spirits follow with 60 million liters. Then there's the wine as well with 24 million liters as well. In terms of the economic impact, obviously we had the president speaking about Gehog says, who sells alcohol and loses? And that became a funny joke which was running around for quite a while. It does bring us some amount of money, and this is the contribution of beer alone to the GDP, 368 million US dollars, which is 0.5% of Ghana's economy in the year 2023. And this work done by the research team here at 3 News. In terms of the economic impact as well, in the job numbers, we see 52,000 individuals are employed directly or indirectly as a result of alcohol production and what have you. But again, the government tends to benefit in terms of the tax revenue, 153 million US dollars from beer alone, we must mention as well. But there are those who say the drawbacks far outweigh the positives in terms of the impact to the economy and the GDP. Now, road fatalities linked to drink driving cost Ghana about 1.2 billion cedis in 2023 alone. That's 1.6% of the country's total GDP. And so that's the big question, whether or not we should continue to look in that direction.
And indeed, I'd have loved to have a conversation with Moses over the telephone, but we cannot do that at this time. I apologize, Moses. We'll cross over to the Jubilee House now, where that important meeting is taking place between the president and the CSOs as well as religious bodies on how to tackle illegal mining, aka Galamsey, in the country. Let's go to Jubilee House now.
Underway to ensure that the battle is won. But he also acknowledges that there are key stakeholders who are as deeply concerned about the phenomenon as he is, and whose perspectives and insights will be useful for the purposes of strengthening this fight and achieving total victory. So this afternoon, he has extended an invitation to a cross-section of organizations and individuals who have been vocal in the fight against Galamsey to have an interaction which should lead to the attainment of consensus on the steps that are required to ensure total victory in the fight against Galamsey. President Mahama would like to hear from all of you here. But before then, it is essential that he updates you through designated officials on the work that has been done so far, where we have come from, and where we intend to go if the work that is currently ongoing is sustained. So a number of presentations will be made this afternoon to bring us up to speed on these developments, after which the President would like to hear from members of civil society organizations present on what their perspectives are and what they believe to be the case and what they expect of government. Once that is done, the President will then make some remarks and indicate clearly where we go from here, after which we will bring the program to a close. So to set the ball rolling, I would invite the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, the Honorable Emmanuel Amakufibua, to tell us where we have come from, where we are, and where we are going with the fight against Galamsey. After him, Colonel Dominic Boa, who is the head of the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, NIMOS, will also give indication about the specific steps that the security agencies and other stakeholders are taking to beat back this phenomenon of Galamsey. And then the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, the Honorable Dr. Dominic Akuritingi Ayine, will indicate the legal steps that have been taken to strengthen the fight. And then finally, Dr. Mauli Lumo, who is with the Water Resources Commission, will apprise us of recent developments in water quality. And I believe that water quality has been of major concern to all Ghanaians, even as the discussions around Galamsey has intensified. So let us welcome the Honorable Emmanuel Amakufibua to set the ball rolling with a presentation on the state of Galamsey. Thank you very much. All right.
Thank you, Excellency.
Say baby atwaso, and dean na ye atwaso. To wit, this is the land our forefathers left for us. With their blood and sweat, they toiled and tilled the land so we can enjoy the fruits of their labor and the goodness of the land. We had one responsibility: to take care of this land and pass it on to the next generation. And yet, what have we done with it? This is the Tano Nimri Forest Reserve in the heart of the western region of this beautiful land of Ghana. This is what betrayal looks like. This is what Akwanta Mining Company has done to the Nimri Forest Reserve. What should have been here should have been trees, ancient trees, older than our grandparents, trees that whispered our history, trees that held rains and fed our rivers. Now, they're just corpses in a graveyard. This is the Tano River, which once gave life to the people of Summerboy and its environs. Children swam here, women cooked with it, farmers watered their crops with it and drank from it. The fufu and palm soup we so enjoy was birthed here.
It shall be the policy of this government to ban the issuance of leases for mining in all forest reserves. We shall also move promptly to revoke all leases issued for the same purpose under the previous government.
We are coming to you. We are coming after you. first time I did this video. Excellency, our respected clergy, CSOs, distinguished invited guests, I'll give a presentation and as has been already told, and I'll give an update on how deep we were sunk when we began. This is the geological map of Ghana. We've been so blessed that everywhere you pass in Ghana, there's gold and other mineral resources. As you can see, this is licenses, large-scale, small-scale, issued within these periods. Ladies and gentlemen, Ghana was named the Gold Coast by the colonial masters for very good reasons. Everywhere you pass, there's gold. And so mining dates back from the 1400s. And Ghana today, even after all these long years of mining, is the largest gold producer who surpassed South Africa in Africa. Sixth in the world. Almost 5 of the largest gold producers in the world are here in Ghana. But this is the story. It used to be the large-scale companies were the ones that were producing more gold. Today I can tell you, small-scale mining is the largest gold producers in Ghana. 52% of the gold in Ghana are produced by small-scale mining as opposed to 48% for large-scale companies. Large-scale mining is a preserve for all Ghanaians. And the latest data we have is that 3 million Ghanaians are engaged legally in this activity in almost 10 regions in the country today. Small-scale mining, as you know, started with rudimentary tools, chisels, hammers, but that's not the same today. It has really moved to this period where we are now evolving to a new, complicated, sophisticated use of excavators to strip the land. And the data is clear. In 2024, the importation of excavators was the largest item of value that was brought into Ghana. 6.5 billion Ghana cedis. This is the first report, and you can imagine when you walk into an office and the first briefing you are getting, this is what you are told. Minister, welcome. But we are very sad to tell you that 44 of the 288 forest reserves that have been kept for years have been completely destroyed, or 16%. Minister, it doesn't stop there. 9 of those forest reserves we've lost it to armed thugs. And if you see the classification of the Forestry Commission, they've classified those 9 zones as red zones. That is, Forestry Commission guards cannot enter. The Ghana Army had not been able to enter. In fact, between 2023 and 2024, the Ghana Army was directed not to enter any forest reserve. And so it was free for all that period. What were the consequences? 5,500 hectares for our pristine forest reserve had been completely destroyed. You saw some of the pictures. If you want to imagine it, that's equivalent to 7,500 football fields. Think about the implication of restoring this and how much billions you need to restore it. And these are the impacted areas in Ashanti, Bekwai, Nkawie, Mankraso, Western Takwa, Dabuasi. So these 3 regions really are the main areas that has been impacted. I've already talked about the classification. If you had done it in color form, you have seen that the top one is no go. The second one, which is like gold, is an area that is close to the first one. 18 is medium, you can manage, so they go in, they clear them out, they come back. And then the 5th one is the green zone, where basically we can control. This is what we came to meet. This is the deepest we were sunk. And so I've talked about the red zone, and these were the 9 no-go areas. Chemra, Afao Hills, Tano Anua, Offense Shelter Belt, Anua East. Just 2 weeks ago, if you saw that the National Anti-Illegal Mining had gone back to the shelter belt, it meant that the same talks are trying to take it back from us. We were immediate, we were swift, we were brutal. This is the extent of focus. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Apamprama Forest Reserve in the Ashanti region. What you are looking at is not a city. It's the area view of our forest region, how damaged it is. Let's move from the forest to the water bodies. It even gets worse. We have 3 water systems in Ghana, the Volta, Southwestern, and the coastal basins. The Southwestern is the most impacted, especially rivers like Ankobra, Pratan, and Abia. And it gets worse. Constant importation of champagne machines, digging deep and polluting the water with dangerous chemicals has been the story. And the implications were serious. The turbidity levels that were supposed to be 0 to 500 had moved from 5,000 to 12,000. Impossible for water companies to treat water. And so if you hear the stories of Ghana Water Company shutting down, you know, it started in Takwa. And so when you are in Winneba, you think Takwa was too far. Well, you got into Takwa, he's got into the eastern region, and he's probably coming to you. The impact didn't stop there. The incidence of renal diseases, bird defects, impact on agriculture and food production and our cocoa production. It's all well known. And I think these are the impact, and it's very, very clear. And yet, ladies and gentlemen, law enforcement was weak. Slow investigation. This data should tell you that in 2024, 2023, total arrests, 35 prosecution. Should give you a picture, 4%. I think that we'll talk deeply about identifying the root causes. Why are we here? How did we get here? It was obvious that most of the people in all these areas did not understand the implications of this damage. The implications of the destruction of our water bodies and our forest reserve, our very lives, the foundation of how we survive. There was also clearly weak enforcement of mining regulation. The real problem was also with the regulators, the Minerals Commission and the EPA. I must be the first to say it. It was very clear how we issue licenses was even discouraging people in mining areas and poor people from going through this queue. It was pointless. Unemployment, poverty, and limited access to opportunity were clear factors as well. It got worse. Corruption among political officials and law enforcement agencies who were supposed to lead the effort were all complicit, clearly. And then it was not even helped by the price of gold that kept going up. So it became clear that if I'm a teacher and I can easily make some bucks illegally, enforcement is not there, all I have to do is do it and then just pay some bribe. It was free for all. This is when we came in. January 2027. You even remember the short period of time, how many licenses were rushed and given out. It was not even enough. This is the directive of President Mahama. You are going to do everything possible to bring this problem under control. So we began the 5 pillars, 5-pronged approach to talk about where we are, the crisis we face. We began with stakeholder education and engagement, because ultimately this fight will not be won by guns. It will be won by the heart and soul of every Ghanaian. We began collaboration and education and engagement with the powerful, the connected, the most powerful people. We started with Parliament. We went to Chiefs, House of Chiefs. We've been everywhere, educating them to use their voices and their positions to help in addressing the crisis we face. Key stakeholders engagement across the country. A long list of everybody that matters in Ghana has been engaged within this short period of time. The second is what I talked about. We must completely, overhaul our regulatory regime. And we began by revoking those licenses that were given within that transitional period. And then embark on an aggressive process to review the large scale, small scale. We just finished earlier the small scale mining review. You will be shocked. Processes that should be followed were not followed. It was obvious that you have to be politically connected to get a license. It was very, very clear that if you do not have a political godfather, it will take you years to get a license. It was clear that the MCAS system that should allow everybody in the comfort of his room to see what is going on in the Minerals Commission was not happening. We initially came out with 907 licenses that had problems. But we didn't want to simply revoke the licenses. We gave opportunity to the small-scale miners to come in and show what they have. We've done the complete due diligence, and let me thank the chairman of the review, my able deputy minister, for this effort. I can tell you that the review is almost closed. At least, I'm sure, by next week when we announce it, at least 250 licenses will be revoked. I'm very sure about that one. It is very clear that we need to also review and amend the main Mining Act, Act 703. A lot of provisions there must be tweaked and strengthened. And why is it that those in Accra can just decide, because you are my friend, just get a license? You don't even know Elembele. You can just walk in there, wave your licenses at the chiefs and the local people and tell them that I am coming to take the gold underground, your cocoa, and you have no power. This review includes reforming it and creating, empowering our chiefs and communities in the district areas where the gold is. We are going to form district mining committees to make sure that the recommendation for licenses will first and foremost come from the district, the owners of the resource. We are also going to create avenues for not only medium scale, but small scale, but medium scale. What has happened? Small scale mining is 25 acres. So I go through all this hustle and I get 25 acres. When I finish mining it, I have to go through this lengthy, crazy program. Now I won't go to Accra again. All I have to do is just continue the illegality. How do we create the opportunity for those who have done the right thing to be given medium scale and large scale? As the president has announced, we have been, as Ghanaians, at the back of the bus. We've been in the middle in the mining industry for over 100 years. We think that Ghanaians have reached the point where they can have the commanding heights of the mining sector, as Nkrumah will describe. And when you see the president making the case that when we give you a 30-year mining lease, it is not automatic, that it's going to just be given. And that we are going to now move in that direction to empower Ghanaians. This is what the president meant. And so we are doing a lot. I'm very happy to tell you that within this 9 months, we've visited every region, we've met every House of Chiefs, we've met the National House of Chiefs. We are almost 90% complete with the reform of the law and the policy, and I believe next year all these amendments will be in place. This is how much we have been working. On regulations, as I've described, we have audited, and I think I've made all these points already. The other important aspect of this fight is, as we are doing the regulations, we need to strengthen enforcement, because it's very clear that it was free for all. Everybody was digging everywhere that there was no tomorrow. And so those recalcitrant people must be dealt with. And so at this point, where it became a free-for-all, everybody was forming a task force. Thanks to the coordination and cooperation of the Minister of Interior and the Defense, and I'll talk a bit about it when we get to some point. We have jointly have a coordinated force and establish what we call the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operation. At this point, when it comes to the law enforcement, I'll invite Colonel Dominic Boa, no relation, to come to come and can I come this way, please?
It's a team of dedicated men and women.
It's very important.
Who form NIMOS.
Yes, so
and he will take us through. He will take us through the structure of NIMOS, who is part of it, who is not part of it, what they have done in the period that they have been in existence, and where they seek to go with the fight against Galamsey based on their experiences in the fight. So, Kanabua, the floor is yours.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, NIMOS is basically, as the Honorable Minister said, a coordinating tool, a coordinating center established by your government to ensure that there is a unified approach to the fight against illegal mining. And therefore, NIMOS is leading the charge to effect the arrest and send them for prosecution. We also ensure that environmental laws are strictly adhered to at NIMOS. Of course, the local authority, especially the chiefs, are part of this fight and therefore collaborate very well with them and all state institutions. So NIMOS, in brief, is a coordinated approach, well integrated with all institutions and organizations and individuals who are involved in the fight, so that we have a unified approach to the fight against illegal mining. Who is in NIMOS? As I said, it is an all-encompassing and integrated approach. So we have the base of our security, the National Security Secretariat, who are leading the charge with NIMOS. Of course, the parent ministry is the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. That's their brainchild, from the wisdom of His Excellency the President. And we sit at the Secretariat. Now, the order of NIMOS is that His Excellency is the overall head of NIMOS, and then the sector minister leads the charge. And he is advised by a team of ministers to call the Ministerial Advisory Group on NIMOS. And this comprises the sector minister, Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Ministers of Interior, the National Security Coordinator, the Minister for Defense, the Attorney General, all others, the local government minister, and all other people involved in the fight against illegal mining. They advise the sector minister on the direction to go with the fight. And then there is a secretariat which has been procured, and NIMOS sits at secretariat headquarters, has myself as the director of operations. I take instructions from the sector minister and the ministerial advisory group. And I have 3 deputies who assist with the running. A very important leg of the NIMOS is that we have field task forces, which is an integrated and unified one. Hitherto, we had various institutions doing it on their own. Now we managed to bring everybody on board, the institutions and the security services that matter. And I must say that, as I earlier said, we have the National Security Secretariat, then we have the Ghana Armed Forces made up of the Army, Navy, and Air Force, the Ghana Police Service. We noticed that earlier the police were doing so well by the independent operation, the IGP Special Task Force. They've all been integrated into the NIMOS, and we are working together. You can see I have a Superintendent Keita here, who is our police assistant director at the headquarters. Then also we have the National Investigations Bureau. We have the Ghana Immigration Service, because of the foreigners in the space who are not legally authorized to do mining in that small-scale sector. And then we have Narcotics Control Commission. There's a lot of drug issues when you get to the Galamsey site. Of course, we have the chiefs, we have a lot of local informants, because it is a collective effort. The small-scale miners are involved. They have an association who give us a lot of insight into what is happening on the ground. And together, we forge ahead in the fight in this unified manner. I must say that we have the Blue Water Guards who are doing marvelously well. They are more or less like the eyes and ears along the riverine communities. So what happens is that they are deployed, about 1,000 of them, almost 1,000 of them are deployed, and they give us a lot of information on the operations to conduct. Then also, we have the local chiefs who also assist us with information. I know what I'm... So what is NAMOS doing? What is NAMOS doing differently? We know that there have been several efforts which are all meant to do good. However, the NAMOS is going to operate differently because we are combining both kinetic and non-kinetic effects. When I say kinetic, kinetic refers to the brute force, the use of the military and the police in the trenches, in the water bodies, in the forest reserve, which the soldiers and the police are good at doing, clearing the illegal miners from the space. This is enforced with technology, the use of drones and surveillance. Aside that, the addition we are bringing on board is the non-kinetic one, which is the soft approach. So for instance, we are leveraging on the knowledge of the chiefs because they are the owners of the communities and they know. So aside what government is doing, we are also, as NAMOS, engaging the chiefs. We go to the communities and sensitize them on the harmful effects of the illegal mining and the fact that they know these illegal miners. They should give us information when they come on the ground to perform the illegal mining activities. We also work with the security on the ground. So NAMOS doesn't work alone. We have already existing military units, police stations, the national security infrastructure, whom we work with, so that the fight will be a more unified one. Of course, I mentioned technology, which plays a key role in the fight against illegal mining. Now, tracing to the big fishes is one area we take very important. Many a times you go to the site, you see these young boys who are desperate for a little bit of money to take care of themselves. We say that we should dig and look inside the veil, behind the veil, who are those there? And that is where the Honorable Attorney General is helping us so much. So we trace, investigate, and question, and find out who are the real people behind the financiers, because they are the ones that can lead to dipping the Galamsey Menace in the bud. So we are also working at tracing the financiers and the influential people behind the Galamsey. Now, what are the achievements of NAMOS so far? Since May, we've been working in close collaboration with the police service, the Ghana Armed Forces, and all the other agencies which have been operating task forces. Luckily, we have been able to unify them. But I must say that, as His Excellency said in about 3 weeks back, about the 2 outstanding forest reserves, about a week and a half ago, we were able to take those forest reserve, that is the Achumamponia Forest Reserve, which was very decisive, a 4 or 5 days operation. We did that concurrently with the Desiree Forest, so the 2 are now free of illegal miners. Finally, we handed them over, and then 2 days after, some people decided to go back. With the ground intelligence, we quickly went in massively, and we subdued those armed gangs. And currently, they are in their cells, and Honorable Attorney General is leading in their prosecution. That is what NAMOS is going to do going forward. About 450 excavators have been seized at various police stations and barracks locations, and the necessary registration and tagging is ongoing. Currently, as I speak this morning, one of my deputies and a team from the various organizations, Forestry Commission, Minerals Commission, are off to Kumasi to register all those ones we have in safe custody. They will go around the whole country, all the lodgement areas, and make sure that the state gets a full hand on all these seized excavators and take the necessary decision so that they don't go back into the illegal mining sites. We have over 1,400 people arrested and at various levels of investigation and prosecution. The Honorable Attorney General, I'm sure, will speak to these ones. Over 500 chamfans. In fact, 500 is an understatement. They have all been destroyed. And I've told my troops that they should be brutal when they get to water bodies and there are chamfans inside. We will not bring chamfans out because it is at a cost to the state and they may not even be serviceable. So the best thing is to damage, destroy, and burn them completely in the water bodies. And then later we'll go and clear the debris so that the chemicals and the corrosion can go off the water. So that is what we are doing. And it's a bold step. We will not stop doing that. We'll continue to burn them in the water. The forest reserve, whatever equipment we cannot use, we will damage them, including excavators. We'll scatter them into pieces in situ. Over 1,000 pumping machines. I must say that about 900 have already been presented by the Honorable Minister for Lands and then Agriculture to farmers who are putting them to good use. As I speak, I have about 150 still in the NIMO stores ready to be presented to the farmers so that they can be put to better use than destroying our environment. Then also, there are a lot of weaponry in the Galamsey sites. There are some of them we've seized. We are processing them. We'll be handed over to the Ministry of Interior and the National Security Secretariat so that the necessary disposal actions can be carried out. I must say that there are some vehicles that were seized from illegal mining sites. They are no longer for the owners. The Honorable Attorney General has told us that he's going to help us to seize them. We will seize them as soldiers. But the Honorable Attorney General will help us to secure them legally. Once we get them legally, we'll continue to use them for our operations because we need these resources to carry out the operation. It's a better use than using them for illegal mining. So going forward, I must say that what should Ghanaians expect? There's a lot more. The NIMOS is going to deploy fully, firmly, as the Minister has been highlighting, across the length and breadth of the country. In fact, we've zoned the whole country into 7 illegal mining zones or regions, and further sectorize them into 21. And we're going to deploy troops enough at every center. They will be there 24/7. The illegal miners think they can operate in the night. No. We will picket every location and make sure that life is made unbearable for them going forward. And we'll be ruthless with them because they are environmental terrorists, as Dr. Kenashibe used to say. They are terrorists and must be treated as such. We have only one Ghana. We need to do everything possible to protect it. The 21 zones we have been given focus by His Excellency the President. Every water body within those zones, every forest reserve, the roads and railways which are being dug, and then foreigners who have come to destroy our environment, we will focus on those areas and make sure that those who are mine legally have the access to the legal areas to mine sustainably. Very soon, NIMOS will have a 24-hour toll-free line. And these lines have been procured. We are just renovating the secretariat, and all citizens will have the right to call in. If you see any illegal mining going on anywhere, say something, do something. We will create the opportunity for you to say it so that we can analyze 24/7 and send the troops who are on the ground, who are well integrated with the secretariat headquarters, to deal with the illegal mining activities on the ground. Of course, we are leveraging on the technology. There are a lot of drones. We're collaborating with the National Signal Bureau to get the drones and the right technology so that once we deal with a place, we are able to see or follow through with the surveillance of the place and don't get the return of these illegal miners. So, His Excellency, Mr. President, with your permission, I would like to send this warning to illegal miners, their assigns and financiers, that they are the first or prime enemies of the state, and they will be dealt with as such. There will be no room for them to escape or to hide. NIMOS will smoke them out very soon. There's no resting place for them. They should get ready and be assured that very soon our waters will turn blue and our forests will turn green. We have already trained over 400 troops who are the first batch deployed or under deployment to sensitive areas. We'll continue to deploy more so that we will all go to bed knowing that NIMOS is firmly on the ground and illegal mining will be a thing of the past. So all illegal miners, galamseyers, their financiers and assigns, beware. NIMOS is closer to your bases and there will be no hiding place for you. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Colonel Dominic Bois, for that presentation. So, Colonel Dominic Bois and his men have arrested over 1,400 illegal miners. The immediate question that arises is what is being done to these illegal miners and their principals. To help us navigate that, I wish to invite another Dominic, this time the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Dr. Dominic Akuritinga Ayini, to take us through the legal steps that have been put in place to make the fight even more robust. Okay. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Mr. President, and good afternoon, my fellow Ghanaians. In terms of the legal steps, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources has underscored the fact that legal and regulatory reform is at the heart of what we are doing in order to change the narrative about illegal mining. So one of the things we have done is to review the Minerals and Mining Act. And I have advised the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources that the current state of the law is such that licenses and leases can be granted over the whole territory of the Republic of Ghana. That includes forests, that includes the territorial waters and the exclusive economic zone. So the first thing to do is for us to streamline the Minerals and Mining Act. And for instance, in respect of mining in forest reserves, we will put a provision in the statute, in the bill, when enacted, that will prohibit mining in forest reserves completely. And I have told the minister that one of the things we can do is to identify all the forest reserves and put them in a schedule attached to the bill and make it categorically clear that no license for mining activity or lease for the conduct of mining can be granted in respect of all the forest reserve attached to the statute. Now that means that at any point in time that the law, the position has to change, they have to go back to Parliament and then review the law, which makes it, politically more difficult. Also, we have prepared an instrument that is LI 2505 in my office, and that will be laid in Parliament on the 14th. The Minister and I have agreed that on the 14th of October, when Parliament resumes, we'll lay that instrument to revoke the famous LI 2462, which is the infamous LI 2462, so that there will be no basis whatsoever for anybody to tamper with, with our forest. So immediately it is laid, within 21 days, it matures, and from that time onwards, we will not have LI 2462. Now, in terms of prosecutions, the statistics that were given included 1,400 arrests. 1,400 arrests. Now, the biggest problem we've had with the arrests is the 48 hours rule. Constitutional principle that we must bring them before the courts within 48 hours. Most of the judges have been granting them bail. So I remember the point that was made by Colonel Boa. When we arrested 9 people in Kumasi, he called me and I told him that immediately place them before the court and then ask for them to be detained so that we do our investigation. When they appeared before the court, Your Excellency, they were granted bail. Okay? Then they went back. He was very good in monitoring them. They went back into the forest. So I told him that even despite the fact that they've been granted bail, because they have gone back into the forest, they've committed a new offense. I asked him to arrest them, but to bring them to Accra instead of placing them before a court in Kumasi. And I'm dealing with them now. They are in detention. We will not release them. We will make sure that even if the High Court says we should grant them bail, we'll go to Court of Appeal and go to the Supreme Court to ensure that we hold them until the dockets are prepared and then we send them to court. Currently, we have initiated prosecutions in 65 dockets. And Mr. President, there's a difference. When we say 65 dockets, it is not 65 individual persons who are being prosecuted. Some of them are more than 10. In fact, there is one case in the Western North. There are 28 minors that are involved in that prosecution. So the 65 dockets, by my calculation, contains about 600 persons that are illegal minors that are being prosecuted. And I'm happy to announce that in 2002, the police conducted very diligent investigations in respect of Akonta mining. But the docket was hidden until we came to power. In fact, when we came to power and I started the investigation with the Lands and Natural Resources Minister and the Forestry Commission, we were finding it difficult to get information. Subsequently, the police themselves owned up and presented the docket to my office 2 months ago. So as we speak, the charges against Chairman Wuntumi, Akonta Mining, and 5 others have been signed as I speak. Currently, we are waiting for him to be read his right to remain silent, etc. Before we've asked that he should be brought from, Kumasi. His lawyers asked that he should be brought on Tuesday, but I'm insisting that he should be here on Monday. If he doesn't come on Monday, I'm going to order for his arrest so that he'll be brought to Accra. His rights will be read to him, and then we can start the prosecution. We have also put in place certain measures to ensure that the prosecution goes faster than normal. We have approached the Chief Justice, who has agreed to assign specialized courts for the prosecution of illegal mining cases. And I have laid before Cabinet on Tuesday. Cabinet will meet and approve the public tribunal's bill, which will go to Parliament on a certificate of agency. And if by December the tribunals are in place, most of the circuit tribunals will be given exclusive jurisdiction to deal with mining cases. And we will appoint the chairman and panel members of the tribunals, give them timelines beyond which they should not carry a case. So, for instance, we will insist that every mining case should end within 6 months. If there are reasons for you to appeal, that is fine. But the tribunal must deliver its verdict within 6 months. Currently, we don't have those statutory timelines beyond which they should not carry a case. So, for instance, we will insist that every mining case should end within 6 months. If there are reasons for you to appeal, that is fine. But the tribunal must deliver its verdict within 6 months. Currently, we don't have those statutory timelines in CI 47, that is the High Court Civil Procedure Rules. So I want Parliament to help me to put those timelines in the tribunal's bill so that the tribunals will do the cases very fast. So, Mr. President, this is where we are in terms of the legal steps. And as I said, law enforcement, regulatory reform is at the heart of what we are doing. And we will not spare any person, in terms of the accountability for their destruction of the environment. Thank you very much.
Very much. Honorable Dominic Akuritinga Ayini, Attorney General and Minister for Justice. Now, we have seen very disturbing photos and videos of our pristine water bodies turning murky and filled with toxic material. But in the last few months, there have been significant gains in reversing the trend. So Dr. Mawuli Lumo, who is with the Water Resources Commission, is up next. He will take us through the gains made so far and what can be done going forward to ensure that all our river bodies return to normalcy. Dr. Lumo, the floor is yours. Please go back to the presentation. He has some slides to share. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. These are the current levels of turbidity that we have measured compared with that of 2024. Turbidity is simply how clear a water body appears, and it is measured in NTU, nephelometric turbidity unit. And nephelometry is simply how light scattered or penetrates a water body. So if you point a light to a water body, it will present whether it is scattered or it is penetrated. What comes back, you measure it, and that gives you the level of turbidity. So if you look at the rivers, at Shofiwi also on the River Tano, on average for the year 2024, it was 139. When we monitored it for this year, if you take the average, it came down to 14, and that was an 89% improvement. At Barekese, it was 22 in 2024, and then 11. That's about a 50%. At Dominasi, on the River Cobra, where NIMOS has operated extensively, it was 2,870. It has come down to 1,927. On the Densu River at Manguasi, when we monitored it, the average for 2024 was 129. It has come down to 34 for 2025. That's about 73% improvement. And then the Tano also, on the River Tano, it was 10. And when we measured this year, it was average was 9. That's about 10%. Then at Ampasia, close to the Honorable Minister's constituency, it was 1,500 and it's now 520. That's about 65% improvement. We would like to employ on NIMO to spread, because there are other places where we've had elevated turbidity. And so we will call on NIMOS to be able to spread their activities to those places, especially the Eastern Region Central, so that at least we can also get rid of the illegal miners polluting our water bodies. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
So the Honorable Minister will conclude the presentation, after which we'll take contributions from CSO presidents.
So I think the last point he was making was that every time we've paid attention to a particular river body, like what NIMOS has done to Ankobra, we've seen some improvement. And so I think that the effort to basically declare some of these areas as security zones will be very, very important in driving these numbers in the positive side. We missed something that I have to go back to, and it has to do with the excavators. But let me say it before I talk about the alternative livelihood. One area that was completely missed throughout all this process was the import of excavators. And ladies and gentlemen, you'll be surprised to know this, that for a whole 8 years, no excavator that was imported in Ghana went through registration with the DVLA. So it was free for all. Every excavator was coming. And I told you, His Excellency summoned us to pay attention to the import of excavators. Within 1 month, we had seized 1,200 excavators, and there was no space at the Tema port. So we had to have a meeting to decide between the Minister of Transport, Finance, and my ministry what we can do to decongest. We were lucky to get the military to give us a place, and that is where most of those excavators were lifted. And what happened? You couldn't move these excavators and add on to the traffic. So it was decided that we should move them when the traffic were gone. And so that is really the story of those movement of excavators. I can tell you now that as we speak, that we have DVLA office stationed at Temaport working closely with the Minerals Commission. What are they doing? Every excavator, before you even import it, the new inspection regime, the new review is that you have to be approved to import excavator. Thanks to the collaboration with the Minister of Transport, the Minister of Finance, myself, we collectively have to approve it. If you say you are coming to import excavator for mining, the Minerals Commission will bring me a letter and then will be approved. If you say you want to do quarry or you are in construction, the appropriate ministry will give us. That's when the Minister of Transport can now authorize the import. We still have thousands of excavators sitting there. Everybody is now waiting. I don't know why they are delaying, but those who have imported it are supposed to bring their legal licenses to claim it. And it's very clear, we created a process. If indeed you are bringing it for construction, a legitimate company or a quarry business, you have a contract, you are doing it, we'll readily release those excavators for that work. But oftentimes those that are questionable are still there. We are deciding on a timeline within a period where we don't find the owners, we will confiscate all that to the state. But that regime is very important. What we are doing, what Minerals Commission is also doing is that not only registering the excavators at the DVLA, we are also tracking them. And if you look at some of the numbers we have so far, we have basically registered, DVLA has registered 1,181, and we have tracked 724 of them, which means that if you tell me you are taking those excavators to Takwa, we'll track it and make sure that when you go anywhere and it's not Takwa, you have a problem. We have a control room that is monitoring all these excavators in the system. And then we geofence it as well. You say you are going to mine in Takwa, we know the perimeter of that mining area. You have to send it and operate within that perimeter. Anytime it goes outside the geofence area, that excavator will be disabled. And so those systems will be tightened as we go forward. And ultimately the plan is to make sure every excavator in this country is tracked and geofenced. Yes, I'm winding up. Well, I can't wind it up. There are two important things. I think I talk about degraded land. What are we doing about it? What are we doing about degraded land? I first talk about the water bodies. As you know, we launched what we call the Tree for Life initiative. His Excellency launched this in Kumasi last March. And the policy is to make sure we plant, this year alone, 60 million seedlings between the Ministry of Environment and the Ministry of Lands. I'm very happy that program has started, and we are moving full steam ahead on that. We've also, as part of the initiative, focusing on dechemicalizing the water bodies and making sure we protect these water bodies. Often I hear, what are the blue water guys doing? In fact, this morning I checked my social media. I said, a guy sent me and said, oh, one of my blue water girl female has been impregnated by a man. I said, I said, well, but the truth is that these blue water girls, it's funny, I read it on social media. Well, these blue water guards are not only educating those communities in the riverine area, they are acting as intelligent officers. A lot of equipment that has been seized because of the blue water gas. And so I strongly believe they are a very important addition to the fight. And we have recruited almost 1,000 of them this year. We're going to continue recruiting more of them. They are doing a good job. I think one of the critical pillars, which is basically the last pillar, is providing alternative suitable. And at this point, ladies and gentlemen, before I even say anything, can we all rise in memory of our departed colleagues who, in the fight of this illegal mining lost their life. Can we have a minute of silence, please? May the life of our departed colleagues and may their souls rest in perfect peace. Amen. We have, thanks to the President, we established a responsible small-scale mining program. So far, we've identified a lot of areas working with large-scale mining companies as a team to make sure we transfer their best practices to these communities, create a win-win partnerships for them. A lot of mining companies are now on board. We've begun that process, and what we are doing is to make sure that everybody who wants to engage in mining, we've created a legal pathway for them. We have also created the audit that we are talking about, all those areas that are good, that are not going to destroy water bodies, and our forests will be allocated to the responsible corporate mining program to make sure that we train people, we give them all the tools they need so that they can mine responsibly and sustainably. And so the fight against illegal mining, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, anytime you talk about where we have been, think about the depth where we started. Within 9 months, these are the steps we've taken. But as I said, it is not a sprint, it's a marathon. What gives me hope and what we are looking at is that we believe that by next year, we'll review completely our laws and our policies. We believe that we are going to continue this fight and make sure that we start seeing marked improvement, not only in our forests, but our water bodies. Our reclamation program is very expensive. I take the opportunity to call on all Ghanaians, especially corporate Ghana, to come to support in this effort. Think about 7,500 football fields in the forest that we have to reclaim. Billions of Ghana cedis. And so we will continue this fight. We will continue with the COMSDEP program and all the other alternatives to empower our young people to move away. We are working closely to make sure we improve our turbidity levels, as has been said. But the data is very clear. We are on a forward march. Are we where we want to be? No. Have we been making progress? Yes. I'm confident we are on the right path. And I believe, as the President has said, Ghanaians will be at the forefront of this mining industry, and will do it responsibly, making sure that our water bodies are 10 blue. And what gives me confidence is the political will and the leadership that His Excellency John Mahama is providing. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. So, government has presented its offerings in the fight against illegal mining. President Mahama would now like to hear from members of civil society organizations present, as well as the clergy. So the floor will be opened. If you have any comments, contributions, or indications to give, please put up your hand. The microphone will be brought to you. And I would urge that in the interest of time, we avoid lengthy preambles and go straight to the points that we want to make. We will take about 5 contributions, after which His Excellency will share with us a few remarks. All right. So I see about 3 hands here. There's a lady. Yes, please rise and make your contribution.
Okay. Hello, I'm Dr. Najo Ajeli Boyjani. I'm here on behalf of One Ghana Movement. I want to make a comment on what the gentleman talking about, the water presentation. Yes, he gave some figures. I'm not sure that is really the full picture, because recently in the news it was reported that some of the water bodies are 90,000 NTU and over, and turbidity levels are just about the things we can see. That's the cloudiness of the water. He didn't talk about what we are doing to take care of the heavy metals, because we have, as a result of Galamsey, we have mercury, cyanide that they use to get the gold, and cyanide is causing, I'm a medical doctor by profession, I'm also a researcher. Cyanide is causing a lot of organ dysfunctions in our clinic. We see mercury poisoning in our clinics, but he didn't talk about what we are doing. We don't have the facilities, as far as I know, to I don't really understand when he says that we are on a forward march, because I feel like we are not doing enough. Because last year we even had a lot of cholera cases. This is all as a result of Galamsey. We have malaria cases as well.
All right.
And yeah, we are tired of seeing these things in our hospitals.
All right, so Dr. Luma will answer that presently. I see another hand. There's a gentleman in a hat. Yes. Yeah, Dr. Akenashibe, pardon me for not making you out.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, unfortunately, the time that has been given is quite short. Yeah. So we have written out what we would present, and we would give it to you, and we would give a copy to the press as well. His Excellency, we believe that there's some political will that you've demonstrated. The minister is working. But the elephant in the room was not mentioned. You heard the Attorney General talk only about Akonta Mine. The Attorney General has referred some politically exposed persons to the Iyoko. We've not heard anything about that. There are some politically exposed persons that we, the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey, have petitioned you about. We've not heard anything about that. There are some chiefs that are complicit in it. So let me read just a short bit of what our ask is. Our ask is that given the unprecedented crisis and the fact that our demands are clear, we ask you, His Excellency, to clearly tell us in granular definition, your granular definition of success in the fight against Galamsey. Also share with us very definitive roadmap that would include key milestones and timelines and how we are going to get there. We believe that the work that has been done by EPA and all about the level of heavy metals in our water bodies, the turbidity that have gone above 98,000 NTUs, and my brother, the scientist, that report you shared with us, unfortunately, for all of us who are scientists, we know that this is not how you measure water quality. We know that that's not how you do it. You need to deal with the seasonalities. You need to deal with what the water quality index is, what you should be sharing with us and telling us what is it that we've been consuming as a people. And all of us, our lives are at risk. Our lives are at very risk. So we ask that, His Excellency, you also tell us what benchmark would compel you to invoke the state of emergency, which you term is your last resort. We believe that the state of emergency is critical to carrying out some of the things that the minister has spoken about, to deal with the ecocidal genocide that is being perpetuated against all of us as Ghanaians. We also ask that the fast-track court that is being mentioned, timelines be put to them, and then the key things be also mentioned. What are the key performance indicators that have been given to our MCs, DCs, police commanders in areas where Galamsey is still going on? And what are the consequences for failure? Because we see a lot of them failing, but nothing is happening to them. We also ask that the chiefs, that some of them that are doing good work, and there are examples of them, Mampong, Gemma, and there's a community where they have a water body called...
Dr. Shigbe, not to rush you, because of time, I would kindly ask that you wrap up, so that...
Okay, I would wrap up. Yeah. So our quest is that the chiefs, anywhere that Galamsey is going on, the chiefs are either acquiescing or they know something about it. Those lands be confiscated and the chiefs be investigated. Let's continue those cases against the community members who are fighting this on our behalf. And then finally, the last one is the issues around accountability measures. Ghana Water Research should be publishing the quality index of water that is coming to all the treatment plants. The president should also commission a group to be doing food quality tests and publishing that to all of us so that we are sure that we are not consuming poison. And we will submit this document to His Excellency. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I'll take a couple of questions from here. I see a hand up from behind, and then one. There's a Reverend Minister in front here. Yes. Please, same rubric applies. Short and succinct.
Okay. Your Excellency the President, state officials,
so much for brevity. Yeah.
Okay, I'll go straight to the point.
Yes.
Mr. President, I state unequivocally that our nation is at war. There are criminals, environmental terrorists, greedy men and women that have waged war against the sovereignty of Ghana and her citizens. They are not fighting us with missiles. They are not bombarding us with bombs. But they are fighting us, including generations unborn, with mercury, cyanide, arsenic, lead, and what have you. Where we have gotten to now, we have to make a decisive decision whether we are going to tolerate what is going on at the moment, or we are going to take a frantic action to arrest the menace of Galamsey. And I'm going to appeal to the president that he must do what the president of Ghana must do. He must do what the president of Ghana must do, which is, Mr. President, declare a state of emergency. Mr. President, only you have the power to declare a state of emergency. And therefore, please, do it. Professor Osai Sampeni, just last week.
You've made your appeal. In the interest of time, let us move to...
No, 2 more minutes.
No. I'm afraid I cannot afford that. So the Reverend Minister in front here will have his bite of the cherry, please. No, we'll come back.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Asafo, you have the floor.
Thank you. Your Excellency, I want to take opportunity to congratulate the effort that has been made so far. In the presentation by the Honorable Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, he indicated plans to establish district mining committees. My concern is whether this will not be another avenue for corrupting the system at the local level and even granting these opportunities more frequently than what we see now. In terms of the vehicles, the machinery that are being confiscated, I humbly would want to request for very transparent accountability in the interest of government so that naysayers will not pick it up and talk about missing excavators and chamfer machines. And so I want to request for transparency. My third question is whether we can have regular weekly updates. I mean, the concern for state of emergency being declared is coming from an apprehension of what is being done. And so if, like we are hearing now, there can be a regular update, I mean, statewide, so that people know what progress is being made and people can see pictures so that hearts will be at rest as to what is happening.
Thank you very much. I saw the hand of Colonel Abuaji at the back. But we will come back for a second round of questions. So those of you who want to ask more questions, you will have the opportunity to do so.
Chief, excuse me. Forms C, environmental recovery and public health. D, livelihoods and economic alternatives. E, institutional transparency and political accountability. And last but not least, the strategic intelligence and security. Within this framework, I would wish to borrow from the strategic thought of the Chinese general Sun Tzu, that the best general is the one who wins a war without firing any shot. Our position as CDT is that at this material time, it is a bit premature to declare a state of emergency because it entails political, socio-economic, and other security risks. So therefore, our main point within this six-point framework is to identify the center of gravity of Galamsey. And that center of gravity is the use of industrial machinery. So therefore, the main effort, and I'm speaking in terms of military strategy, the main effort of the state, the government, against that center of gravity will be to eliminate the use of machinery, heavy machinery. If we can do this in timelines, we would have reverted the issue of illegal mining to the days of Don Diego de Azambuja, when we were basically mining gold with basic implements. Once we do that, all other things will fall in line. But as I've said, our policy brief outlines the details of how we could go about this.
All right.
Once again, I thank you.
Thank you very much. As I indicated, we will come back for another round. But I would invite Dr. Lumo to address the medical doctor's concerns regarding dechemicalization and other important indices in the assessment of water quality. That can tie into Dr. Ashigbe's concerns relating to other metrics that you may not have spoken about. But I would invite Dr. Lumo to address the medical doctor's concerns regarding dechemicalization and other important indices in the assessment of water quality. That can tie into Dr. Ashigbe's concerns relating to other metrics that you may not have spoken about. After him, the Attorney General will address the matter of politically exposed persons referred to his outfit for action and the status of that. His Excellency may want to speak about the state of emergency when he gets his turn to sum up. And then the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources will address concerns raised by Osofo on the District Mining Committee initiative and transparency and accountability measures to ensure that nobody takes advantage of the situation to enrich themselves, as was the case in the past. And then Colonel Abuaje's take on the premature calls for state of emergency may also be addressed by His Excellency when he gets the opportunity to wrap up. So, Dr. Lumo, shall we have you? Yeah.
Thank you. Hello. Okay. Thank you very much. On the issue of the monitoring, what we presented here is just one parameter. That's the stability that we all can relate to. It's what we see on the ground, and that is what we brought over here. For heavy metals, it's this year that we began monitoring heavy metals. We've always been doing only the physiochemicals. We've not done heavy metals, but this year we began this heavy metals monitoring, and I don't have the results here. That's why you don't see it here. On the issue of engineer Shugbe point, what we presented here are the facts. As I pointed out during my presentation, these were selected locations where NIMOS has operated, and then the results. I also did mention that there are some places that we have elevated turbidity, and we are hoping that they can extend their operations to those places where they can effectively help us reduce the impact. I am also aware that, and I think if Chief Executive Officer of EPA is here, she can also speak to it, that they are in the process of acquiring a system that can help the separation of heavy metals from our water bodies. That's in the form of treating our water bodies. Thank you.
If the EPA CEO is here, she can shed light on that aspect of their operations.
Yeah. Thank you, Your Excellency. What the EPA is in the process of acquiring, it's a technology that will help treat our water bodies while the water are in their position.
Timelines. Dr. Shigbe is interested in that.
The timeline from water. So water can now be treated as they are on the lands where we have, before they get into the treatment plants of the water companies.
Is there any indication of how quickly this is going to be done? Timelines. Dr. Shigbe is interested in that.
The timelines is tied to financials as well. So we are seeking commitment authorization from the Ministry of Finance. Once we have that, we'll be able to procure this technology. It's a chemicalization of our water bodies. Then we'll go ahead with it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Prof. Now, the Attorney General will speak to the politically exposed persons and the status of investigations, as well as any other actions that he may have initiated against such persons.
Thank you very much. It is true we referred 2 people who are politically exposed to the Economic and Organized Crime Office for investigation. These were the Honorable Yamin and Abanga, who is a third national vice chairman, one of the vice chairmen of our party. When we did the referral, it was upon intelligence that we got that was sent to both myself and the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. But after we did, some petitions came from small-scale miners to the Economic and Organized Crime Office, then complicating the investigations. And so, as we speak, an investigative report is yet to be made to my office, because those small-scale miners also brought their petitions that had allegations against the 2 persons who were referred. And so at this point in time, I cannot definitively speak to what is contained in the investigative report, because it is yet to be presented to my office by the EOCO. But we are definitely taking action on those matters. Thank you very much.
Right. Okay, so Honorable Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, are your district mining committees prone to corruption? And are there mechanisms to ensure transparency and accountability in the handling of assets that are confiscated during the fight when Kenebo and his men stormed these Galamsey sites?
Thank you very much. I think that before I answer that question, I think the point about the custody of the seized excavators and how we protect it to make sure we don't create that a challenge of missing excavators is something that has been taken on board. We're doing everything to make sure that those are strictly protected in government custody. Already in the current laws, everybody who gets the licenses, in the process of the licensing, are supposed to engage these mining communities and local communities. what has happened is that those are not happening. You've had a lot of complaints about chiefs in these mining communities. And so when I was talking about the district mining communities, what I said was that they are going to be the first step in the licensing process and basically give recommendations. Those recommendations will be followed up by the Minerals Commission before those licenses are ultimately issued. And so I think it's an additional layer which I think will be helpful to address those concerns. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much. We'll come back to regularity of yes. All right.
Oh, I think that's taken on board and it's something that we'll be doing. Yeah. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much. So we'll come back to another 5 questions or contributions. So we'll start with second from left. Yes. Bishop, please, you have the floor.
Mr. President, respectfully I rise on behalf of the Ghana Catholic Bishops Conference, listening to your presentation today, especially from the Honorable Minister and our soldier from Nemos. We acknowledge that something good is happening. However, we, as you know us, will continue to be consistent voice of truth to your administration, just as we've done to many other administrations. So permit me to read a few lines to you. We'll be submitting ours to you also.
Please go ahead.
In the name of God and on behalf of the good people of Ghana who voted for you, we urge you, Your Excellency, to provide the following: clear benchmarks that will trigger a state of emergency, visible prosecution of kingpins, including those named in official reports, the establishment of promised fast-track courts, measurable performance indicators for local authorities and security services, protection for communities and traditional leaders who resist Galamsey, alongside accountability for those complicit. Your Excellency, credibility is now as important as policy. Our people must see that no one is above the law and that economic expediency cannot outweigh the sacred right to clean water, safe food, and a healthy environment. We are with you in this fight, and so we beg of you and we urge you to act with courage and moral clarity. Delay is to raise complicity in what is fast becoming an ecocidal tragedy of monumental proportions. Our house is on fire. Let us put it out. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bishop, for those moving words. The president of the Ghana General Association leads an organization that has been vocal in the fight against Galamsey. So at this stage, we will hear from him and learn what his organization represents.
Thank you,
in this
Honorable
fight.
Minister. First of all, colleagues, as a matter of fairness, let's acknowledge the progress made so far. Until this day, I didn't know we had made such progress. And I must admit that that is for the good of this fight. And so we will continue to stress on the matter of continuous engagement and also update, as requested by my brother here, the Reverend Minister, that how do we tell the story? Because these are all stories which are not out there. We, as part of the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey, have been calling for the state of emergency. But having heard and followed the presentation today, I'm tempted to believe that we are on the right path. It is a matter of having progressive engagement and also getting the media involved in telling the story. Right. That's why we need the resources, the tools to be able to get the story from the ground and report it as it is. I believe that the Honorable Minister is here. I have called on him severally. The GJ is ever ready. Our doors are open to partner with the ministry to tell the story as it is, so that the citizens and the good people will appreciate what is being done. But I still think that, as you said, we still have a long way to go, and the government must not be complacent in what has been done so far, must rather double our steps and ensure that success become ours. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So there's a gentleman in spectacles in the middle, in Fugu. Yes. It appears contributors are not identifying themselves. So please identify yourself, your organization, so that it helps us appreciate where you're coming from. Yes.
So my name is Professor Serge Nibwana. I'm the Director of Council for Scientific Industrial Research, Water Research Institute. And I must say that what we're hearing and what we've seen, I think, is quite good for the progress that have been made so far. And I must indicate that when the commander spoke about the Galamsey monitoring in the day, I said, well, that is no. But then he has indicated that they are going to continue this during the evening and the night. And I think if that is the strategy, they must try and follow through with that. Now, you will note that Dr. Lemo did indicate the level of turbidity reducing significantly. And I must say that it's not the first time, because I remember in 2017, there was a year banned on Galamsey. In fact, Water Research Institute had been following through in terms of monitoring of the water, and we saw a significant reduction in the turbidity, and alongside we also saw reduction also in other heavy metals. What I might say that the water itself will be able to cleanse itself over some period, but it will take some time. So I recommend, and I ask Mr. President, that if this is halted, then there must be a regular monitoring of heavy metals in the water. And we must know that it's not only the mercury, because there are some heavy metals that come along with the ore, which we break for the mining. So during the process of the crushing, grinding, and the washing, other poisonous heavy metal are also released, like arsenic, which is carcinogenic, like lead, and many other. So we are employing the president that there must be, as we take this action, there must be a constant monitoring so that we'll be able to notice what progress is being made. And as the EPAC CEO has also indicated, there is also the need to look at trying to clean the waters as well. But I must indicate that this is quite voluminous water. Pra alone is about 375 kilometers. And if you want to clean, it costs for a lot of money to do that. But I think that in specific areas may require. I must also indicate that special areas around the intake of water for Ghana Water Company, those areas must be looked at in terms of decriminalization so that this effort will be made. But I must say, a good progress is being made, but we need to hold on and do our best to ensure that this is done. And I believe that when it is done, we will have a lot of health hazard that we are seeing come to an end. I thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. There's a lady at the back here whose hand is up. Please give the microphone to her. So please identify yourself and let us hear your contribution.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Patience Tay. I'm an environmental and political activist. My question is this. Earlier this year, a representative of this government, Samuel J. made a statement that LI 2462 will be repealed in May. When Parliament resumes, May came and the LI was not revoked. The Lands Minister said, I think in August or September, I'm not exactly sure. It was October. Okay. In October or...
Please allow her to put her thoughts.
I think within the weeks or last weeks or whatever the situation here.
All right, please go ahead. Yes.
Okay, so he made a statement that the LI would be revoked when Parliament resumes in October.
Yes.
How can we believe that when there have been inconsistencies?
All right.
So that is my question.
All right, thank you very much. Now I'll take a contribution from the representative of Islamic organizations here. Please bring him the microphone. Okay, all right. Thank you.
Contribution coming from the House. There is one fundamental issue that I think we should be looking at, and that is enforcement. All the suggestions we are listening to, as what other colleagues were saying. Now, having listened to the presentation and then the contribution coming from the House, there is one fundamental issue that I think we should be looking at, and that is enforcement. All the suggestions we are listening to has been captured already in the presentation. Those are brilliant solutions. All we need at this stage is to enforce. Right from the legal to the task force, and then the blue, is it the blue armies? The blue water. We know exactly what to do. We have an idea of what to do. From the Muslim community, we are just asking that let's work on the enforcement and we'll make a lot of gains. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So we'll now take a contribution from a representative of small-scale miners who have perspectives to share on this matter. For the avoidance of doubt, these are not Galamseyers. These are small-scale miners.
Yes, thank you very much.
Properly so-called.
I'm Godwin Amar, the General Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners. Your Excellency, we, the Association of Small-Scale Miners, have hope. We know the issue of illegal mining is not an event, but it's a process. So we are going to work with NIMOS to ensure that we attain the extraordinary, that is, ensuring that our water bodies gain the stability levels that we all want to see. The establishment of the Gold Board, as one of the example, is that whilst we are able to, formalize the downstream, which is the trading aspect of the small-scale mining sector, and we are seeing the gains in terms of gold production, which we've not seen in this country before. Every month we are getting close to 2 tons of gold. And if you look at the economic benefits, you know that the industry is something that we cannot say is not contributing to the socio-economic gains of the country. The issue of Galamsey, one of the areas is the importation. We've seen excavators being tracked and all that. I want to ask the minister what he's doing about the importation of chamfans. Because now that you don't have the excavators, even the chamfans, the havoc that they can cause with the use of what we call one leg, and then small China, and all that, they can do a lot of havoc, even more than the excavators. So we propose that there should be some sort of restriction so that those who have licenses will have access to it instead of it being imported by everyone. Because research that we've done, it comes in thousands. All right. Thank you very much.
I saw the hand of Franklin Kujo up. So Franklin, you have the floor. And Your Excellency, with your kind permission, we'll take 2 additional contributions and then we'll come to you.
Oh, thank you very much. I'd just like to say that it looks as if we need more money, and I'm saying this for the simple reason that when I looked at last year's budget for fighting Galamsey, it was about 10 million Ghana cedis. You guys allocated almost 50 million Ghana cedis to fight Galamsey, and already we are seeing some results. Question I have, how much money do you really need to fix Everything. We just want to know. And by the way, you have to be giving us updates as to how you use the money. So how much money do you really need? Because it looks to me 50 million is enough, and I'm seeing some results really, but we need more. Second question, is it official government policy to be deporting Chinese who are engaged in Galamsey?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So there's a gentleman at the back, and then we'll take a lady in the light blue shirt also at the back, and that will be it. All right, please identify yourself and then.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Dr. Solomon Usu from Denver, Colorado, United States.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead, Dr. Usu.
All right. I'm here because of Honorable Muntaka. He has passed a policy that whenever these foreigners who are criminals are arrested, we are supposed to deport them. Your Excellency, you all remember that I asked a similar question back in 2019. Mr. Osafo, and then it became a political capital for NDC. Why are we repeating the same thing? If we can arrest Chinese guys who are the key Galamseyers in this country, and we just deport them without enforcing them to reclaim our lands and restore our water bodies, then what is the fight about? What is the difference between arresting them, deporting them, and I shall once arrest and the deportation? Honorable Muntaka should explain to us. If we cannot prosecute and jail the Chinese nationals, then there's no point prosecuting and jailing Ghanaians who commit the same offense in the country that they come from.
All right, your point.
Secondly, secondly,
please make it very
we've been talking about responsible mining, and in fact, I must congratulate the Sector Minister, Mr. Boa, and the team about the good work that they've done so far. It's not enough. Ghanaians want to see restored water bodies. Ghanaians want to see reclaimed lands. When are we starting? I know he has important and very strong policies coming up, to be rolled out on reclamation and restoration of water bodies. We need to expedite it for Ghanaians to see the good works that you are doing. Thank you very much.
So there's a lady behind here who has the floor now.
My name is Priscilla Toboli. I'm representing Fix the Country. Now, my question is, why have we not seen prosecutions from the frontline institutions that issue the reckless mining licenses? And then when is it going to begin? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. President, there is a representative of the Ghana Association of Disabled Persons. So we want to give them the opportunity. Physically challenged. Pardon my mix-up. Yes.
Don't worry. Thank you very much. Well, the term is Ghana Federation of Organizations. Ghana Federation of Disability Organizations.
All right.
Okay, so we are all persons with disability.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Mr. Excellency, Your Excellency, Mr. President, and all the good people here, we just want to say that as persons with disability, we are one of the most vulnerable groups of this nation. And we have been so adversely affected by this evil and, bad practice. We are very frustrated, we're disappointed, and we are angry at this situation. This issue of Galamsey has plagued this nation for I don't know how many years. And we've put in measures, we've put in laws, we have different institutions, we have bodies, we have Attorney General, we have the military, we have the police. I could go on and on and on. And still, the people are doing it. And still, they continue to kill our water bodies. They continue to kill our environment. And now they are killing us as people. And still, sometimes we really get a little fed up with a lot of... I know we need to have laws in the country. I know. We need to have laws in the country. We need policies. But we also need results. We also need things to happen. Mr. President, you have the power to stop this thing. We know it is everybody is affected. But Mr. President, you have the power to stop it. You can go on a state of emergency if that is not enough. You have the responsibility to do something to stop it and make us all safe. Now we hear of more children that are coming into the world with deformities through no fault of theirs. Right. Children are coming into the world with mental problems through no fault of theirs. Children are coming into the world without limbs through no fault of theirs. And still, people are continuing to do this poisoning. Still, they are doing this evil thing. So please.
Through no fault of mine, I would have to cut it here.
Okay.
In order to
then thank you so
save
much.
time. Thank you very much for your contribution. Now that brings us to an end of the session for questions and contributions. I do know that there are many of you here who would have loved to make contributions or ask questions, but as you may be aware, we are very hard pressed for time. So we will give the opportunity to His Excellency the President to summarize. All right, so the Lands Minister will take a few questions. Perhaps you will want to address Franklin's. Yes, so there are a few questions that he would like to speak to. And then His Excellency the President will take the floor and make some remarks.
There was a question about the frontline institutions and people who have really not helped this fight and what we are doing. I can assure you that we are dealing with them appropriately. Those that must be terminated, those that must be punished. We are working on that as part of the whole reform. On budget, I think it's a very good question. If you saw my presentation, I called corporate Ghana to come to our aid in supporting this fight against illegal mining. For example, if I give you how much is required to reclaim 7,500 football fields, probably the whole of Ghana's 1 year budget has to be spent on the Galamsey fight. And so clearly that is really a problem, and I thank you for bringing it up. But corporate Ghana must come and support us collectively in this fight, especially reclaiming our water bodies and dechemicalizing program. It's a very expensive undertaking. And so I want to make sure we bring that up. Thank you very much. Deportation is not government policy, it's an administrative decision. And I believe that we've already tabled it strongly. I'm sure His Excellency will review this and make sure that we address it appropriately. I thank you.
Thank you very much.